Well, are you happy to be here?
Of course. Are you?
You're supposed to say yes. That was
Yes, man.
I'd given you an opportunity to say, we'll start again. We'll start again.
Okay.
So, are you happy to be here?
Oui, monsieur.
There you go. That's you watched this movie in French?
Yeah.
That was the only copy you had.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
That is true. Hello and welcome.
To
My name is
episode.
Brady.
I am Peter.
And yeah, this is another episode. This is episode 94?
Yeah, somewhere.
Good
And
Lord.
The reason we're having trouble on the exact number in the 90s is just because we have so many midweek bonuses, so we think it's probably 94. But it's
No. For me, it's GMOs. The GMOs are messing up my my ability to perceive numbers. I don't know.
That's okay. We won't judge. It's all good.
I don't want to piss anyone off. Like I've got, I was about to say I have no issue with GMOs, but that will equally piss off as many. You can't win. You can't win with GMOs.
No. So we'll just say we won't talk about it anymore.
So we're working our way back through years of film. We started with 2019.
2019.
And we are now on 2008. So that is 11 decade-based episodes that we've done.
And so far, I've had some fun.
I've had some fun. I feel like there was an area in there that I was a little less interested in.
Sure.
Which was like the early 2010s. I was like, this is, I don't know. It felt, it wasn't recent enough for us to be reviewing a relevant film.
Yep.
But it wasn't so far back that it felt nostalgic either.
Right. That's
it just
true.
kind of felt like, yesterday's news that we were reporting on.
Right.
So anyways, it is, so I was thinking this, I was looking ahead, actually at the films that I would want to pick as my two options for 2007. And I just got excited. I was like, man, there are some gems here. There are, like, I'm going back and I'm rediscovering movies that, either I have seen and haven't seen in a long time, I'm excited to potentially watch again. Or actually, there's a couple of things, there's a couple of films from 2007 where I'm like, I never did get around to watching that. Maybe it's time.
Interesting.
So anyways, that's all to say. The further back we go, I think my excitement for it is ramping up more and more.
That's very cool. And I have to agree. Year by year, it's kind of hit or miss. Some years are better than others, just as far as interest. It is always interesting to see where the audience votes take us. And I am like you. There are some years that I specifically have earmarked where I am excited to get kind of the nostalgic films that otherwise we wouldn't really have a reason to vote on them up to potentially review. So it's fun, and the further we go back, it is very interesting.
There are two things that I think everyone listening can agree with.
Sure.
Number one is that, yes, some years are better than others. And secondly, 2020 is a piece of shit.
I was worried you were going to go down the GMO road again. I'm like, oh, boy.
Oh, no. No. If some years are better than others, then 2020 can drop dead.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think everyone can agree with that. So yeah, we did the year 2008. We had some options, and Yes Man came out ahead and won.
Yeah, I did. Had you seen this movie before?
Very much so. I had seen it in theaters. I had seen it at home. I owned a copy of it. It even influenced a week in my life where I took a Yes Man challenge.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay. So I'm that, whether you're prepared to talk about that or not, I've got some questions.
Sure.
So, cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to start this thing off with some trivia?
Yeah, let's do it.
right.
It'll be one question for you this week, and I'm just going to mention a couple things before I ask you that question. So,
Overachiever.
well, some things I just found interesting. So just contractually, I'm always interested in contracts and what's negotiated and whatnot. So I did read, and it's quite interesting. Jim Carrey, not Jim Clary. Jim Carrey apparently declined a flat salary for this film, but instead negotiated a percentage of the gross profits after production and marketing costs were covered. So he got 36.2% of the film's gross as a payment. So I think that's just kind of cool. That interests me.
I mean, that worked out for George Lucas.
Sure. Why? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for
because every time someone sneezed Star Wars, George Lucas got like 4%.
Right. Apparently, in one of the bar scenes, Jim Carrey kind of over jumped or over fell in a certain scene, and he literally broke a few ribs, which is not ideal.
I mean, he's super physical.
Yeah.
He's a very physical actor.
Oh, yeah. And finally, I found it interesting. Apparently, Jack Black was originally considered for the role. We might get into Jim Carrey's acting abilities or whether he was good for this role, but I do think they went with the right choice of not Jack Black and Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I'm trying to visualize right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I'm playing out different scenes from the movie in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm plugging Jack Black into those different scenes. Yeah, I don't know. It would have been different. It would have been very different.
Sure.
But I don't know if I would have, I don't know if I would have bought the character. I think he could have pulled off the energy.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe sort of some of the physicality. But I don't know that I would have bought the depressed recluse who is emotionally damaged from a marriage that didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would have bought that from Jack Black, but it's we'll never know.
And I think you're right. It would have been a very different brand that would have been a result. My question for you. So this is obviously a Jim Carrey film, and it's a Jim Carrey romantic comedy. My question for you is, can you name me Jim Carrey's first romantic comedy that he starred in?
First romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm. Or rom-com, as the kids say.
I mean, what is the is the definition of a rom-com just where it's a comedy and the main character ends up with a girl?
Without getting too deep in the weeds, I guess my answer to you would be a rom-com is just when you Google the film, this is the category. So when you're Googling Nightmare on Elm Street, it would not be considered a rom-com. When you Google 27 Dresses, it would be considered a rom-com.
Okay. Had someone just asked me, do you consider The Mask to be a rom-com, I probably would have said no, but it's so far back in his career.
Right.
And Stanley Ipkiss, his character in The Mask, ends up with Cameron Diaz's character.
Right.
And there's quite a romance that goes on there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no romance in The Cable Guy. There's no romance in Ace Ventura. No real, him and the animals, but that's
that's something different, kids.
That's, The Truman Show isn't a romance film, really. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a romance, kind of, but it's definitely not a comedy. I'm gonna go with The Mask. I can't.
Sure.
I can't think of any.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Almighty's kind of a rom-com, but romance is not sort of a focal element of it.
Right.
And then I guess you could say that Liar Liar kind of, because Liar Liar they get back together.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think The Mask is older than Liar Liar.
Mm. Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna go with The Mask. It could
Cool.
be Liar Liar. It could be neither, but I'm gonna go with The Mask.
Cool. So the answer to this question, it might raise an eyebrow and go, interesting. It might just infuriate you and the listeners to the arbitrariness of the classification of films by the industry. So when I read this, I at first was like, oh, that's a really good question. Well, he's been in a lot. Let me just go back at his filmography and let me just make a list of all the films that were rom-coms, and I'll just see which the first film was. And by definition, Yes Man is his first romantic comedy, because when you go, it's a technicality. When you go back and look at, say, Liar Liar or Bruce Almighty, although they do have romantic elements to them, they are technically considered comedy fantasy. So I swear my goal for this question was not just to be tripping you on a technicality. It was truly shock on my part that I really was surprised that this was Jim Carrey's first romantic comedy, when it's arguably at the midway to latter part of his career.
Because, I mean, even The Grinch ends up with Martha. So
Right. But again, not maybe the main focal point of the story. So I just thought that was interesting. And that's why I kind of wanted to share it with you and everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I think that's a subjective question.
Sure.
Because, yeah.
I think, and like I said, I think it also comments on maybe the arbitrariness of film classifications by the industry, because is Liar Liar a comedy fantasy? Maybe. But it also just, you could make arguments.
What about Me, Myself, and Irene?
Yeah, I saw that, but I think it was classified as a black comedy or a noir comedy.
Okay.
So it was not considered a romantic comedy.
All right. All right.
Yeah. I was surprised. I thought there would at least have been a couple, but by definition, this was the first.
All right. Well, that's, that's a trick question if I've ever seen one.
It is. Well, you didn't see it.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So, Yes Man.
Mm-hmm.
I
do. Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, while we're on the topic of Liar Liar, I have always described this film as the spiritual bastard sequel to Liar Liar.
Okay.
Just because to me it's I don't know. Yes Man and Liar Liar I think are both great films, and they both stand on their own.
Sure.
But it's a very similar concept. You have Jim Carrey, who is playing a character who has one major personality flaw, right? So in Liar Liar, it's that he's a compulsive liar. In this one, it's that he compulsively turns down opportunities. He hides from his friends. He's a no man.
Sure.
And then something happens where all of a sudden he is obligated or has no choice but to do the polar opposite of what his personality defect is.
Right.
And things get excited when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guy who compulsively lies can't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Guy who compulsively says no can't say no. It's so similar to me.
Yeah, I've never ever compared them.
Really?
Conceptually, I've thought of them just as here's a list of Jim Carrey films. Let's compare performances, but I've really never compared them to that degree. And that's I would actually really accept that point, that it is just two similar films about different character flaws, and it's kind of different character studies done in a comedic way. That's really interesting.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I agree.
I hope so. You raised the point.
I'm gonna slap you in the face with a hot take, and then then I'm gonna untie your collar and let you run here.
Sure.
I think,
Hmm.
not necessarily performance, because there's been other supporting character roles that Jim Carrey has done.
Sure.
But I think Yes Man
Hmm.
is the last truly great film that Jim Carrey is the star of,
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
right? As the lead role, it's the
Yes.
last really good Jim Carrey movie that we've gotten.
Right. Right.
That's, and I stand by that. I have that. It's
Hmm.
being printed on a shirt as we speak.
I would hope so.
I'm editing together a meme with the guy sitting on the table with the Bristol board taped to the front of his table in the park, and it says, "Yes Man is the last great Jim Carrey movie. Changed my mind."
Inter- Interesting. So, that's quite an. I feel like that could offend some people.
I hope so.
My take on that. I made a note, and I'm going to read you a note word for word. And honestly, you'll have to take my word for it. The audience will have to take my word for it. But this is what I was also going to bring up. Looking at Jim Carrey's filmography, perhaps the last film where I've been impressed by his visceral comedic ability. Not at his best work, but probably one of his last greats. It's not Ace Ventura, it's not Liar Liar, but I did make a note from this point, and by that I mean 2008, I feel Bradley Cooper and Jim Carrey's careers kind of just went in different trajectories. And I don't mean that as a slight on Jim Carrey. I just mean, his is kind of winding down a little bit as far as big mega hits that he's succeeded in. And Bradley Cooper has kind of been more on the uptake. So
Sure.
I
I think there's only been one performance since Yes Man, which I'm more impressed with, but he's not necessarily the star.
As a side note, can you what film is that?
Sonic. Oh, I think
Okay. I've heard that.
think Jim Carrey and Sonic the Hedgehog was a true return to form. It just stunning. Just made you feel like a kid in a candy store.
Mhm.
It was iconic 90s Jim Carrey.
I've heard that, and that's interesting. I've not seen Sonic, but that's cool.
He steals the movie 100%.
Yeah,
And I mean, when he's up against an animated blue booger and James Marsden,
hmm
it's not hard to be the best part of the film.
right. Yeah, it's interesting thinking about Yes Man, because when I saw it when it came out, when I've seen it more recently, I never really considered that where this was in kind of the timeline of his career. But now when I've given it more thought, it's kind of like, yeah, this was kind of like the victory lap. Like this was kind of the final stand where, it wasn't just that it was a good movie, it was a big hit, but it was just that he had those moments in Yes Man that were like Liar Liar, that were like The Mask, that were like Ace Ventura, that just like you could watch him and he was entertaining in every facet. Like he was funny, his face, the way he delivered his lines, like every component of his scene he delivered. And I'm not sure. I felt that Yes Man was kind of like a throwback to his kind of earlier days, and maybe that's partly why it was success. And it kind of makes me sad that, like he's not really on the scene anymore. But
Yeah, and there's a couple actors who every couple of months I will log into, or I'll go on to their IMDb, and I'll
Sure.
just see, is there anything coming up that maybe I haven't heard of? Kind of gleefully waiting for
Sure.
a return or just the next big thing coming. And it's a short list. Is there anything new coming from Tim Burton?
Right. Yeah.
Stuff like that. But Jim Carrey's always been on that list. Has always been, what is he doing next? Where
Right.
is the next Jim Carrey comedy?
Right. And is it coming?
No. Nothing's coming.
Yeah, it's too bad. But yeah, as far as Yes Man, yeah. Had you seen it before? This is kind of behind the curtain. This was one of your options.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
which at first I kind of gave an eyebrow raise, and I was like, really, really? Like we want to make this an option to discuss and chat about. And then after I kind of thought about it for a minute, I'm like, well, I like this film, so actually I don't really care. Like that's cool. But it for what it is, like it's not a drama, it's not a intellectual thriller. It's a comedy, and for what it is, I think it's a good film. So I came
It's a
around
very
to the
good film.
idea of it being an option. But obviously you had seen it.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. This is man, I hate to crack open an egg and spill some yolk on you before you're ready. Hmm. There's a podcast episode which is on the whiteboard.
Okay.
Where we're going to discuss a list of actors who are our top 10.
I see. Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say.
All right. I won't ask any more. I don't want to know.
There are very few. Like I've got Jim Carrey's IMDb pulled up right now, and if I go through it, there are very few of these where I'm going, I still haven't seen that yet.
Sure.
Yeah. Like.
And yeah. To me, see, Jim Carrey would not be in my top 10, and Jim Carrey would not be on my list of, let's see if this actor has something coming out. And I'm not a fan of, there's some things that are maybe cult classics, like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. It's a film to me, I don't mind it, but it's not my favorite. Dumb and Dumber, take it or leave it. But even for not a super fan of his, there are a lot of films that I'm like, this is gold. Like The Mask.
Oh yeah, The
Mask, Liar. The Truman
Bruce
Show.
Almighty.
The Truman Show, I feel could be like it's not in my top 10 films, but someone could make an argument for it, and I'd be like, hey, all the power to you. I hear you.
Did you see the Steve Carell and Steve Buscemi film, The Incredible Burt Wonderstone?
Yes, I did.
Right, so Jim Carrey, again, just a side supporting role. He plays kind of like a Chris Angel style Vegas TV magician, and he's incredible.
Yeah.
He's just phenomenal in that.
Even films that, whether you like it or not, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, he plays a fantastic Count Olaf. Like,
he's incredible in that.
Fantastic. And even films that some might consider just silly films like Bruce Almighty, I think is from what I remember a great fun film, and it's just again his role that kind of elevates it from just a standard comedy to something that's maybe in the top echelon.
Man on the Moon.
Haven't seen.
Yeah, where he plays, it's a biopic where he plays Andy Kaufman.
Oh, interesting.
And then to this day, a go-to absolute staple at Christmas time for me, and a lot of people don't like it. This film gets a lot of hate.
Can I have a guess which film it is?
You can.
Okay, just tell me. Can I go right now?
Yeah.
My guess, and this is just a guess, is Fun with Dick and Harry.
Dick and Jane, you mean?
Dick and Jane. No.
Batman
Dick Forever.
No.
Not Batman Forever?
See, if you'd been like right on the ball with this, you would have said the animated Ebenezer Scrooge, the Christmas Carol that he's in. But
is it not Batman Forever?
It's not. No, Batman Forever is not a Christmas movie, sir.
I thought there was one of those. I thought
Batman Returns is.
Oh, it's Batman Returns. See, that shows my ignorance to Batman. Sorry, I knew one of them was Christmas, quote unquote.
That's okay. We'll get you up to speed.
It's on the docket.
No, The Grinch, man. The Grinch is so. I never. That film never loses, its place in the Comedy Hall of Fame for me. It is brilliant writing. It's stunningly mesmerizing to watch, and it's just so funny. It's so funny.
Right.
But no, I love Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And as a shout out to the Canadian listeners and those who aren't from Canada, a Canadian boy born in Newmarket, Ontario.
A little bit poetic.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the movie in Newmarket. Like when for this, like 3 days ago.
Nice.
I was just outside of Newmarket watching.
Fair enough.
This. So
Fair enough.
It felt poetic.
As you should. That's quite significant.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I'd never heard it compared to Liar Liar, but I see the merit. And obviously, as this film is just on its own a fun, light comedy, it does raise the point of us maybe saying, as the audience, that is us, saying yes to new ideas, concepts, adventures. And that's kind of our walk away, within reason, use discernment. Don't just say yes blindly. Saying no is okay, but just maybe expanding our comfort zones, being open to new experiences, trying new things, not letting our lives slip by. So I feel like there is somewhat of a walk away with this film, which I think elevates it. One thing is a side note that this film does, and it's not just all films set in this time. Like this one specifically, there's a few key scenes set in a certain area that this film just really stabs at my heart. And that is, this film makes my heart absolutely yearn for Blockbuster and the video rental era.
When the movie started, I knew the movie started at a Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie started and I just had this moment that was like, oh, weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is happening? And when I was watching the movie, I was watching it with a 15 and a 16-year-old.
Right.
And I questioned during the opening scene, I questioned, do I need to pause and explain what's happening?
Right.
Do I need to explain where he is and why he's there? And ultimately I didn't.
And explain like what he's picking up off the shelves and yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, a fun little Easter egg, one of the films on the shelf is the number 23, which is a Jim Carrey movie.
Oh, sure.
So a little bit of world inception there.
Yes, very cool. Yeah, of note, I once was at a Blockbuster and rented this film, so that's kind of an inception moment too, I might say.
Oh. I went in a lot of video rental stores. I don't think I've ever been inside a Blockbuster.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
So it just wasn't, in our town there was Jumbo Video.
Right.
And Hollywood North.
Nice.
And the Movie Gallery, which was the new big fancy kid on the block, and was there kind of right until the industry died. Which is crazy. It is. It's a dead industry.
Oh, for sure. And
I've seen a couple.
Yes.
I know of the location of at least 2 existing stores where you can go in and rent movies.
Yep. Yeah, there's very few. And of note, I think I read within the last year, I think there were, at least before COVID, I think 2 actual Blockbusters open. One was in Alaska and one was like Nebraska or some Midwestern state. I forget.
Nebraska, that's just because word hasn't reached Nebraska that
right.
It's still just VHS there. And shotguns and chewing tobacco.
Hey, that's all you need. But yeah, it's like
not a slight at anyone who's listening from Nebraska, but
represent, baby.
You all think that we live in igloos up here, so we all think that you live on desert flatlands on a porch with a tumbleweed going by and a shotgun in your rocking chair. Like that's
and in that order. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like there were a couple that like were obviously independently owned now because Blockbuster had filed for bankruptcy. So like there were legitimately like 2 left in the United States, and it might be even down to 1. It might even be down to 0 now because of COVID. I don't know, but you're right. It is a dying breed, sadly.
Yeah. And just interesting because there's not many other. I can't think of many other industries that are just dead.
Not at the same level. I'm having trouble coming up with one as well. I don't
stuff that was just like, oh, sure, of course, this kind of store exists, and you can just go out and get this, and that's what you do.
I feel like
it just doesn't.
I feel like there's a ton of examples, but I literally can't come up with any. So maybe you're right.
Yeah.
One side note that I thought was brilliant with this film that was enjoyable, and I think the best comparison I can have to it is from Thor Ragnarok with, you'll have to help me with the pronunciation, Taika Waititi's character. Is that
Taika Waititi?
Taika Waititi, his character, the kind of side character who provides comic relief, and that is Carl's buddy Norm in probably...
Oh, right.
One of, I think, what is as much as Jim Carrey and maybe a bit of a walk-away message are rock stars and kind of stellar parts of this film, the side character of Norm, and just kind of continually just kind of adding this fun, witty, not even witty, just fun comic relief, to me just also propels this film. Like just, I literally made a list of all his funny things, just his funny hat or wig party. I have an exclusive Costco membership card. I can buy large amounts of anything at discount prices. More a buddy than your boss, right?
Yeah. Hi, Carl. It's Norm from work. Your manager, but more your buddy than your manager, right?
Right. Yeah. I think that guy's great.
You just called me Norm there.
Yeah.
Is that like my nickname?
Can I honestly just tell you a true secret?
We could call you your nickname could be Car. And the best, and then the response is, good. Carl's pretty short already.
Yeah, Carl's pretty short already. When I watched Thor Ragnarok, when there was that kind of rock character saying those funny, witty things, I honestly thought that was that actor who portrayed him, and then was just so surprised when it was Taika Waititi.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know that there's this is a tangent, but I don't know if there's a fictional character, portrayal of a fictional character who I find more endearing than Taika doing Korg.
Oh, he's so good.
He's just so good.
Yeah.
And just that like New Zealander Kiwi sense of humor.
Yep.
That's, I tried to have a revolution, but I didn't print enough pamphlets, so nobody showed up.
It sounds like you had. It sounds like that hammer. It sounds like that hammer was very significant to you, and when you lost it, it was like losing a family member.
It would, yeah. Oh, you could fly. Wow, no, the hammer would like pull me off. The hammer would pull you off. Oh my god! Like it's so good.
So quite honestly, I maybe not at the same level, because you're right, Thor and Taika Waititi was phenomenal, but pretty close was the buddy Norm, and I loved it. It was a very, very strong component to this film to me.
Mm-hmm. Building off of that, I don't see enough of, and I'm always just over the moon. Over the moon's not the right term. Endeared. Mesmerized.
Sure.
Tingly and happy, and I love Zooey Deschanel.
Oh yeah, sure.
She's an incredible actress.
Yep.
Can actually sing.
Yes,
we've seen her sing in a couple of films.
Yes.
And yeah, she's fun and she's quirky.
Yes.
And quirky was the perfect personality for this role, for this film.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because you needed someone who was comfortable with the familiar, comfortable with mundane.
Yes. Yep.
You needed a scooter riding indie band, jogging photography,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. I think she's a good actor, and she was great for the role, and she rocked it for sure.
Bradley Cooper's in this, as you mentioned.
And
And
yeah,
Bradley Cooper was a guy that was never really properly on my radar. He'd been in a couple of comedies, and I didn't really care. I was like, okay, yeah, he's the stupid guy from The Hangover. Honestly, I think it was The Hangover,
mm,
right? And I'm just like, okay, Bradley Cooper's the guy from The Hangover.
yep.
But it wasn't until I saw A Star Is Born that Bradley
Mm,
Cooper was really on my radar.
right. Yep.
And now that he is, like, even seeing him in things like this that came out before A Star Is Born, I just appreciate him and like watching him on screen so much more.
It's when I'm kind of casually looking. It's interesting. I feel like Bradley Cooper and maybe Matthew McConaughey have kind of a similar trajectory. So Bradley Cooper, to my experience, was kind of on the scene with a lot of either silly films or kind of rom-com. So yeah, you look at, he's in The Hangover, he's in Failure to Launch, he's in Wedding Crashers, all these kind of just, I would call one-dimensional roles, or something where it's not really potentially testing an actor's ability, or
Ghosts
kind of pushing
of Girlfriends Past.
Yeah. But then Bradley Cooper kind of eventually gets some other role opportunities, and just kind of slowly progresses his way on the scene, in the Hollywood scene, and then kind of gets more, I don't want to say more responsibility, but people are trusting him with more profound or dimensional roles than just the, hey, we need you to be hot, attractive friend number 2 to the main actor in this rom-com kind of thing.
They've both more recently been given opportunities to show their acting chops.
Yes, that's it exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that they're not just funny men, but that they can carry a dramatic scene.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And captivate you, and are both Oscar nominated, worthy of Oscar performers.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So,
I'm looking, and it's exactly that. You're seeing like Hangover in films that I wouldn't really say are much to write home about as far as, dimensions and whatnot. But then you get into like Burnt and, American Hustle, even Guardians of the Galaxy, but Limitless and A Star Is Born, and just, it's interesting to see kind of the similarity in their path.
yeah. Any
Oh.
film? Sorry, hang on. Can we?
Yeah.
I want to keep doing supporting characters here,
Yeah.
other actors.
Yeah.
Any film with Terrence Stamp is a win.
I was just gonna say. Yep. Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's certain roles that you'll write, and you'll think only Terrence Stamp can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Was he ever? Because if he wasn't, this is a travesty.
Okay.
He is, in my opinion,
Sure.
the quintessential Bond villain. He's
Yes.
got that, like,
Yeah.
Arctic layer,
Yep.
maniacal plan.
You can't really get a good reading on him. Like he can either be saying something sarcastically or demeaning, and I think he'd be a great villain because you can't really get a read on him. You can't get a pulse. He's very cold.
Very cold. Everyone's expendable. Even
Yes.
his right hand man is just cannon fodder if it needs to be.
Yeah.
Right. He's so good. And then the only other one that I really want to just, Danny Masterson's in this.
Okay.
So Danny Masterson, a little bit of nostalgia from that 70s show. More recently was in The Ranch, the Netflix show The Ranch.
Oh, sure.
I felt conflicted watching this. I'm a big fan of, or a big believer in, as best as you can, separating the artist from his art, or her art, right?
Okay.
I think Bill Cosby is scum of the earth. He's hilarious. I love watching Bill Cosby stuff.
Sure.
Kevin Spacey's films are incredible. He's not a good guy, right? So stuff like that, where I can still enjoy and whatever. Danny Masterson, for those who don't know, is in the news again right now because he is facing. He's been arrested and charged with a couple counts of rape, sexual assault.
Yikes.
And so he's facing potentially like upwards of 45 years if he's convicted. So it was just, and it was like in the news the day that I watched the film.
Right.
And it had kind of slipped going into it. It had kind of slipped my mind that he was in it. And I wouldn't say that it soured the experience.
Sure.
But it emotionally caught me off guard. I had this moment of like, oh shit, there he is. And didn't have time to prepare for it. And at this point we're talking allegations. He hasn't been convicted,
Sure.
Nothing's been proven, but it was still just this kind of like, it kind of changes the way that you see someone or view someone, whether that's right or wrong.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that was just sort of pulling the curtain back a little bit on my viewing experience this time around. Yeah, it was a slightly different experience for me.
I can appreciate that. I'm not as familiar as you are with him. So specifically with that example, I'm kind of just not applicable. I have no comment just because I'm not really well versed in Danny Masterson. So when I watched this film, just kind of, he was an actor and he was fine, but beyond that, didn't really register on my scale. But I hear your point loud and clear of there are many examples of actors that you sometimes just have to separate the roles they play and the art that they create through the characters they play and their real personal lives, just because, yeah, they can be great artists, but not great people.
You know what? I think what you're saying is kind of consistent with our roles when it comes to Hollywood news. You'll come to me and say, "Oh, did you see this? Did you hear this?" And I'll reply by saying yes. And actually, let me give you 5 facts that this article missed. Right? Like, yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you're unfamiliar with this story. Just because while you're busy saying yes to things and having a life, I'm reading Variety.com and, scouring the Twitter feed.
Yeah. And I think it depends too. I think it's also like actor dependent too, right?
Oh, sure.
I just wasn't big on him.
Yeah, like I would never try to out info you when it came to Leonardo DiCaprio, or more specifically Shia LaBeouf, because I know you follow those two incredibly closely.
Maybe 50% of those.
Yeah, actually, I just threw Shia in there because I was like,
yeah, no, like just Leo.
Oh, just Leo. Yeah. Okay.
Where else would you like to go? That kind of wraps up most of my notes.
I have one last thing, but I'm gonna throw it in at the end to try to trip you up, throw you off your feet a little bit.
I do have a bit of a shout out.
Okay.
As I get it on my phone, I made a note of it. So actually 2 things. It's a comment, then a shout out. So the comment is, one of the votes was, we had 4 films that were voting options, and one of them was Prom Night, and it turned out to be a bit of a hurt locker when it came to voting.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the comment.
That's okay.
Sorry, come on.
I thought you were gonna shout out that like the one person who voted for it. But
No, it was funny because Hurt Locker was another option. My shout out is to Jasmine Ashley, friend of the show. She made a comment at some point on the voting, obviously, and something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm voting for Mamma Mia because I think it would just be fun or great for you guys to watch this film." Jasmine Ashley, I would have liked if it had won. But for the record, Mamma Mia is a masterpiece. It's not in the Sound of Music echelon of musicals. Not saying that. I'm not here for hot takery. But I'm just saying, I'm with you, homie. Good film. Except for Pierce Brosnan singing. That is not good.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen Mamma Mia. I mean,
What?
Okay. Hang on.
No. If we had to watch all 27 James Bond films, we're going to tack on a 28th film, and it'll be Mama. We'll do 20. We'll add on a couple at the end. We'll tack on Miss Doubtfire and Mamma Mia, because they're basically James Bond films with Pierce Brosnan in them.
Basically. Yeah. What was I going to say? I have been in the room while the film is playing.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was invited over. There were two pretty girls watching Mamma Mia.
Yep.
And so I was watching two pretty girls watch Mamma Mia because I was a teenage boy.
Did you walk into the room and go, Mamma Mia?
No, but I do love ABBA.
I love
that's ABBA, one. So I feel like I'm primed to watch this movie.
I'm so confused that you haven't. If you are an ABBA fan,
I love Mamma Mia, or I love ABBA. And my girlfriend's mom loves this movie, loves the soundtrack.
Yeah.
This is
definitely that as a side note, this is definitely a soundtrack that is played on occasion in our car when we're on road trips. And
yours and mine?
Yeah. Well, and my wife as well. When we go on road trips, when you and I, whenever
the communal car.
The communal car, the company car.
Yeah. The company car, yeah.
The company car.
Which, just with COVID, I've just been letting you. I've been like, no, man, you take it. It's a hassle to sanitize it every time.
Which I appreciate.
You do you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, 0 to 10, the hell out of this thing for me.
You bet. I kind of gave it, I think I've landed on an 8 out of 10 on my scale. So I would...
That's praise.
It falls in the top echelon of I would pay to go see it in theaters. I'd get a babysitter for the night. It's worth my time. And when the credits rolled, I'd be like, hey, that was money and time well spent. On Marshall's scale, which is a little bit more objective, it was actually pretty similar. I can't decide. It's either a 7, maybe an 8. But either way, I gave it a pretty good review.
Okay. Fantastic.
How about yourself?
So I gave it something very similar. I gave it a 7.9. So, I mean, about as similar as you can get. I think it's great. It's not my favorite Jim Carrey movie. I can probably name 5 Jim Carrey movies that I would rather watch.
Wow.
But I can probably name 10 that I would rather not watch. So it's still in the top 10. For sure. Really funny. And you know what? Like, you were talking about that there is a takeaway from this movie. There's a bigger message to glean. And I think you're right. I was just talking about this before we started podcasting, recording. Not with you. I wasn't talking about this. There was recently, like in the last 6 months, 6-ish months, 4 months. In the last 4 months, there was an opportunity that was presented to me. And I'm not going to go into detail, but there was an opportunity presented to me that I turned down and have recently come to regret. And I was talking to someone about it, like literally before we started recording, and I said, honestly, had Yes Man been fresh in my mind the day the offer was presented to me, or even, the week leading up to it. I'm like, I'm sure I would have said yes.
Right.
Because watching this the other night, I felt inspired. I felt inspired to grab life by the butt cheeks and just hug it aggressively.
Okay. All right.
And so yeah, I think it's a must watch. If you haven't seen Yes Man, and you've made it this far into the episode, the hell are you doing? But even still, if you have seen it and you haven't seen it in a while, worth a rewatch.
Sure.
There's a public service announcement. Donate to charity, volunteer in your community, and find someone who hasn't seen Yes Man and show it to them.
Help old ladies cross the road.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Did you watch anything this week? You have your track record has been to say no.
Yeah,
lately.
It's just been
sad.
Busy times at the OK Corral. I believe it's still no. I still have a movie on the docket that you recommended that still needs to be watched. I'm trying to rack my brain. My film group, we've taken a week off, so I didn't watch anything there. And I think the only thing I watched was my wife and I have started rewatching Stranger Things season 1 only. We're not bothering with 3, probably not bothering with 2, but we're just going to rewatch season 1. And that's the only thing that's kind of I've watched other than the films we're recording on.
Cool.
Yeah. How about yourself?
No, I haven't. It was just hectic, man.
Yeah.
But this week for sure. Like next week, I'm going to have an answer for you.
Cool.
So yeah. The other thing I've been, if we're talking about TV shows, I've been rewatching. I've blown the dust off of my Disney Plus membership.
Nice.
And I am I'm approaching the end of the 3rd season of The Simpsons.
Oh, cool.
So that's been, a lot of nostalgia for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm showing the show to someone who hasn't really seen it. And so each episode is kind of a new experience for them.
Cool.
So, yeah. Lick this thing shut and stick it in the mail.
All right. So yeah, if you haven't already done so, please check out the links below: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please like, follow, subscribe, or rate and review us and give us a good rating and review on the platform that you're listening. We really appreciate it, specifically with the 3 social media sites. That's where we send out our new information and where we send out our future votes, where you influence and tell us what films we're going to review next. You can also check out our Patreon page below and our merchandise page below. If you feel like supporting the show and help paying the bills. If you're not at that level of support, just leave us a like or a comment. We really appreciate the feedback, and thank you for listening.
All right. And my last comment, my question.
Okay.
My end of episode mint that you get on the or the mint flavored toothpick that you get on the way out to like pick your teeth at. Do you? It's a 3-part question.
Wow. I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Do you have a neighbor named Tilly? And if you do, would you help her hang some shelves? And if you would, what would you do if she had forgotten to go to the bank and couldn't pay you with cash?
Very easy to answer. No, and not applicable.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That is the safe way to navigate that question.
Oh, yeah.